Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Underworld. And this movie came out in 2003, I believe, and it stars Kate Beckinsale. And I have some mixed feelings on this movie. I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. I think it's harmless, kind of a guilty pleasure for me. What I like is just some of the performances. I like Kate Beckinsale. I thought she was really good in the movie. I like the idea for the movie, like vampires versus lichens. I find that kind of interesting, and I liked the design of the lichens when it's not CG because the CG looks dated. I liked the idea of the vampires being like this high class group of characters who live in a mansion, and the lichens just like live in the sewers, and I think that's supposed to be a representation of how people in society are treated. I think like the vampires are just supposed to be a representation of the high class, and the lichens are the low class, and humans are in the middle. It's like I think that's what's supposed to be going on. But I might be overinterpreting what's going on. But anyways, I would say one of the biggest problems with this movie would be the leader of both the lichens and the vampires, or at least the first one that's introduced, because for the vampires, I forget his name. He's not like the head, the official head, but he's the one who's taking control, because the one who is like the strongest and the first of the vampires, he's like asleep or something. It's like he's just in a coffin and just waiting to be awakened. And how this works is they just like have a machine, and then you just pour blood into it, and that wakes them up. But anyways, the guy who was taking over part-time, I guess, being the part-time leader, he was pretty over the top, and I had a really hard time taking him seriously. And same thing goes with the leader of the lichens. He was kind of ridiculous and stupid. And one of my biggest problems with this movie is that it doesn't really feel like the first in this series. It feels like a sequel, because I feel like there's so much backstory that I just missed out on, and they do touch on it, but I just feel like I started in the second or third, maybe even fourth movie of a series that has been going on for years and years. And for this to be the first one, it didn't do a great job establishing everything in the universe. And it kind of reminded me of Hellboy in ways. In that movie, they did a much better job, because they had Myers being like the human character who is experiencing everything. He's pretty much the audience character in that movie, and you learn everything through his eyes. And as the movie progresses, it focuses on all these other characters, and you learn so much more about them, and the film establishes who they are very well. But in this movie, it takes a long time for you to know who anyone is, and the film starts out with some narration that's supposed to fill you in, and it's something, I guess, but it doesn't really work all that well for me. I thought the action scenes were fine. Nothing amazing, but nothing absolutely terrible. There were some interesting shots in this movie. It wasn't just shot, reverse shot throughout the whole film, like a Judd Apatow film. So that's something, I guess. It didn't really communicate any emotions to me, really, and I don't remember much of a point in doing that, but it's better than it being shot really blandly. And also another thing that really bugged me about this movie is that this movie takes place entirely at nighttime, and never once do any of the outside sequences in this movie feel like it's at night, because the moon is just so bright. It's like there's this big ball of light. It's like it's so distracting, and it's like it doesn't feel like nighttime at all. Some of the sound design was pretty weird. Like the gun sound effects they sounded kind of weird at points. Like I don't even know how to describe it, but there was a certain point where guns were being fired, and it did not sound like guns were being fired at all. They added in this like really weird sound effect, That made it pretty cartoonish. But that being said, there are some elements that I do like about it. I didn't mention that I was entertained throughout, and it was well paced, so that's good at least. I'm not saying I was invested in the story or what was going on. I'm just saying that it never got boring to me. And that's about all I have to say about Underworld. It's entertaining throughout. I like Kate Beckinsale in the movie. And there's some interesting ideas. It doesn't look terrible. There's some interesting shots. It's not shot like a Judd Apatow film. But aside from that, it just, as a standalone film, it feels kind of incomplete. I think that's the best way to say it. Incomplete. Like, I feel as though there was more to this story that I just missed out on. But this is the first movie in this series. So I don't understand how this happened. I really don't. And although I do have many problems with it, it is kind of a guilty pleasure for me a little bit. And I do feel as though it is a harmless film. And you can watch this movie if you haven't. And it's watchable. And that's all I can say. It's watchable and it's inoffensive. And if it looks somewhat interesting to you, then I guess I would recommend it. With all that being said, I'm going to give Underworld a 5 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Underworld, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Tick, Tick, Boom. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.